Hello, everybody. My name is Kashi, and welcome back to another episode of The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Last episode, we finally got out of the closet. Good for us. We went to the saloon, talked to Knuckles, who absolutely destroyed an arcade machine, found out that he and Vector were having some drinks with Rogue. We don't know what that's about. Shadow also dropped by, showed them how to play the game. And now we are heading on to the library. Let's mosey on out, shall we? Ready to mosey down to the next car? You got it, partner. Onwards. I just love the scenery and again, the attention to details. Like, this is adorable. All this stuff's getting heavy. I'll dump what I don't need. Everyone's favorite journalist reporter, Amy Rose, is hot on the scoop. I'm heading out. You've been fabulously helpful.
Alrighty. Before you go, SBO and I wanted to give you your presents. Definitely didn't get them from the dollar store last minute.
My presents? You're both too sweet. Thank you.
Vector, it seems we have more guests.
Amy, there you are. I don't want you hanging out with us. Have you found any leads yet? Oh, the detective pair needs help from the birthday girl? She knows everyone's allowed to be sassy on their birthday. I'm sassy all the time, but that might just be because I'm salty and I have to let it out somehow. This tip is just too juicy to ignore. I'll see you all around. Don't worry, Sonic. I'll be the one to avenge you, and quick.
But how are you gonna leave? The door to the next car is locked.
Oh, you doubt the birthday girl? The birthday girl has a master key? Right. The birthday girl gets the birthday key.
Of course, it's a birthday privilege.
I'll solve this case before anyone else. Bye!
Amy may be hasty, but she's thorough. No, what are you two doing? Looking mighty suspicious, I say.
I'm the detective, so I can't be the murderer.
And I'm kind of his babysitter right now. Just making sure things go well. Things aren't going great. Not sure if you've forgotten, but there was a murder.
Well, I mean, besides that?
Besides murder? My social skills are non-existent. Same, buddy, same. I'm Vector the Butcher. I'm licensed to handle raw meat. I won't make a joke about that, I'm sorry. And I'm Espio, the poet.
Poetry. A resonant message from poet to reader meant to challenge our delicate perspectives with the most rhythmic of prose. Can I hear some?
Sure, Teardrops in the spring. Can you hear me sing? La la la, dee dee dee. That sucked. Was that it? I have more if you like. Cherry blossoms in the spring.
I'm satisfied for now. Thanks.
At least he's rhyming, I suppose. A for effort, buddy.
Jake and I are here to establish both of your alibis. Can you walk us through what happened after Amy had everyone leave the dining car?
Oh, sure. It's simple. We just explained this to Amy, actually. When we were all sent off, Rogue, Blaze, Shadow, and Sonic all passed through this library car, where Amy told me and Espio to stay. I promptly picked a book off the shelf and made myself comfortable. Vector got bored, so he left to see what Knuckles was up to in the saloon car. He came back with lipstick on. I don't know what that was about. Yep.
Where was Rogue? We happened to see her lipstick stain on a cup at the saloon car.
Rogue came to the library car, seemingly looking for something. Then she went to search the saloon car. She came back shortly after. We heard her shout, "No way!" at the brochure stand over there. But she left back to the casino car before Shadow came through and locked the door.
Wonder what she found. She's obviously been on the hunt for something.
After Rogue left, Shadow walked through the casino car, then entered the library car and locked the door behind him.
More importantly, why has Shadow been locking doors? How much do you want to bet it's Shadow?
Shadow walked through the library car to the saloon car, where Knuckles and I were playing games. He insisted on showing us up at Super Monkey Ball. I got so engrossed by the rolling monkey action I hardly noticed when Shadow left the saloon car. I guess he walked through the library car to the casino car, again locking the door behind him. Then returned to the lounge car where he was meant to be stationed. When Vector came back, we realized Knuckles unlocked the door to the saloon car. We were stuck in the library. That's when the train sped up. We were worried about bookshelves falling on us, but we got through it all right. We sat trapped here until Amy arrived asking questions. She's the one that told us someone murdered Sonic. And yeah, that's all that happened.
With all these locked doors, it seems Vector and SBO couldn't have left the library car or the saloon car. Thank you both for your cooperation. We're just going to peek around and we'll return with any questions.
If you return with any meat, I'll chop it up for you. And if you'd like to be serenaded with a poem, I got you covered.
Thanks, guys. Their alibis seem solid enough, but we should still search for clues. What we're looking for is any evidence that prove what they're saying is true.
We need to confirm Vector's reason for leaving his post, and determine if SBO is actually in the library card reading. A tall task, but we can do it. Let's get to the bottom of this, Tails.
Absolutely.
A chow hangs precariously from a tree branch. The large text below reads, "Hang in there."
Wow, I really needed to see this.
Okay.
This little chow's hanging there, refusing to use his wings to fly to safety, because choosing the hard way is often the most rewarding. That's beautiful. If this chow can stick to his principles and find strength, then I can too.
That was beautiful, Tails. Thank you. There's no way there was that much thought put into this poster. Right?
Ooh, brochures. There are travel destination ideas here, like amusement parks, caverns, hotels, restaurants, strip clubs. Oh! Jake, look at this. There's a couple maps here.
This seems to be a map of the library car. The books are categorized by genre, which are listed here.
I love a good overhead map. Let's take it.
Hell yeah. Should we take this brochure about a cave too? Looks like there's stalactites.
Nah, leave it.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. It's not like we're friends. It's not like we're gonna hang out afterwards. It's not like I asked you for your phone number and you said no. Nobody shares my fondness for caves. It's okay, buddy. Someday you'll find the perfect cave and become a hermit. God, if I could become a hermit, I totally would.
So many books on the ground. I wish we had time to pick them all up.
I sadly have no interest in picking up these books. It's not part of my job description. A lot of these were knocked out by the train speeding up. But Rogue pulled a lot of these out too, searching for something.
What reckless behavior. I feel sorry for the poor books. The spines are creasing. They're opening too far.
Alright, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I'm super protective of my books.
Hell, I don't even let people borrow my books unless they're hanging out in my apartment. This kid feels empathy for everything.
Did you bring me any meat to chop? I may be a butcher, but they confiscated my meat cleaver before getting on the train.
You actually try to bring a knife on the train?
I'm a man of authenticity, Tails. Without a knife, I'm just a chef in a ketchup stained apron, not a butcher.
I think if you had a knife on you, we'd definitely think you were the murderer. We would also have to kick you off the train.
But what if I hid the knife?
You know, I'm not the biggest fan of this line of thought. Um, Never mind for now.
Nothing like cold cuts for a cold case. Let me know if you need any good butchering.
Something's always hidden in the trash. Let's check there. I hate to say it, but there's nothing here. I really thought there'd be something there. Jake, are you sad that there was nothing in the trash bin? Because I can throw something away.
No, I'm all right. I'm not pouting. I'm not crying.
I'm sure, I'm sure there'll be something hidden in the next trash bin we find.
You really think so?
Yeah, we just gotta stay optimistic.
Yeah, okay. These trash bins hide a secret. I'm sure of it.
Jake, you're pretty unconventional, but I like that.
Was that supposed to be a compliment?
A globe of our marvelous planet that we are slowly destroying.
I haven't traveled around much. The islands are fun and all, but I'd love to visit some of the countries.
They're a lot of fun, honestly. Plenty of wonderful people and shops. The food can't be beat either.
Sounds perfect for a vacation. The conductor was talking about Spagonia, if you ever been there.
I have, actually. If you're ever visiting, be sure to stop at the university and say hi to Professor Pickle. He'll tell you everything about the area and makes one scrumptious sandwich.
I'll keep that in mind, thanks. This group knows everyone and has been everywhere, haven't they? I mean, they are celebs.
Oh, poor thing. That arm is really struggling cleaning up this car.
To be fair, I wouldn't want to clean up all this mess either. It's the future, after all. We have AI now to clean up everything for us. Let's just leave it alone to do its thing.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Let's just take a pause and sit for a second. 15-minute break, everybody. Put my feet up, check my phone.
These chairs are very comfy, so plush. Puts me right in the mood to read.
Makes me want to take a nap, personally. Wake me up in 15 when my break's over. In fact, maybe I'll rest my eyes for a bit.
Jake, no, don't fall asleep. There's been a murder, remember?
If I had a ring for every time a murder ruined my nap time.
Wow, I wish I could stop and look at all these books. But Sonic needs me. No time to rest.
Alright, let's move on then.
Well, I mean, a little peek wouldn't hurt.
He's scavenging through all the book titles excitedly. I hope no one's slipped anything naughty amongst the books. He's like a kid in a candy shop, or in this case, a genius in a train library.
That's odd. I know some books have fallen out on the floor and everything, but every book on these shelves is in alphabetical order, but this one. It's the user guide to the Mirage Express, the train we're currently on.
Well, thank you. I didn't know that, genius. Do you think someone found it on the ground and put it back?
Maybe, but it is interesting. Let's make a note of this.
All right. Fancy a poem? How about a poem about space? I've made it up to space with my beloved antique vase, but a mistake in my haste dropped the vase from my embrace. So my antique I must now replace.
What confused you to drop the vase?
Don't read too deeply, it's just a poem. I can't tell if those are sparkles right here or if they're sweat drops. They look like sparkles, though. He hasn't thought it through, has he? Uh, Start an interrogation? I don't think we have enough evidence yet. We looked everywhere. Never mind. Very well. Am I missing? Oh, I didn't realize that. What's this bright red book?
Oh, yuck! This reeks of the evil scientist Dr. Eggman. Yep, this is Dr. Eggman's autobiography and recipe book.
What kind of recipe?
Who cares? I wouldn't trust any book he's written. It's weird this is even here.
Probably all, egg recipes. But, maybe people just appreciate an omelet?
You may not be wrong. Shadow supposedly walked through the library car before going into the saloon. When Shadow left the library, he locked this door on his way out.
There's gotta be a reason he's doing this. Should we make note of this?
Yeah, I do believe we should.
Alright.
I think we found enough clues. Let's go interrogate Vector and Espio to find out what really happened. This is going to be a tough fight because there's two of them, so we can't do the whole I hold, you punch tactic. Don't worry, we can tag team this.
Fancy a poem. Start interrogation. So, the two of you don't believe us, eh?
It's not that I don't trust either of you, but I wouldn't be a proper detective without examining the validity of your alibis. Jake and I are here to confirm two things. Why Vector left to go play games with Knuckles, and if Espio really was reading in the library.
Vector, we'll start with you. Why did you leave the library to visit Knuckles? We're prepared to present evidence if need. Oh, that's easy. I got bored. What? I wasn't entertaining him enough, it seems. Vector enjoys being social. Plus, we're instructed to mingle. I remember the arcade machine in the saloon, so I figured I'd go check it out. This seems to line up with the information we gathered with Knuckles.
Then that brings our attention to you, Espio. Rogue entered the library car, found something, then left. You said you immediately started reading, but were you actually reading the entire time you were here?
Of course he was. Once Espio starts reading, he doesn't stop till it's done. I've seen it happen.
It must have been a good read. What was the book?
Espio doesn't owe you that, detective. Let the man live. I have seen so much fan art of them together. Not willingly, of course. I just know people who are like, hey Kashi, you want to see this? And me, being me, I say yes every single time. What if it was embarrassing? What kind of things do you think I read?
If you won't talk, I have a hunch on what that book might be. Jake, could you help me out?
Hell yes. Let's go. Alright, Jake. What book do we think Espio may have been reading? A manual? You think Espio was reading instructions? What argument could you possibly have to support this?
There are books scattered around the floor, sure, but the remaining books on the shelves were all in alphabetical order. All except this manual, meaning someone at the very least picked the manual up and put it back in the incorrect place, which is a sin and you must repent and die. This lack of attention to detail isn't normally like you, Espio.
Alright, so yeah, no, that's definitely sweat drops. Hey now, I won't let you insult my pal like that. Calm down, Vector. I know you mean well, but I can handle myself. Apologies, Espio. A butcher and a poet. Friendship can form anywhere. That is indeed the book I was reading. Trains are cool.
In that case, we'd like to ask you a few questions about the manual. Jake, if you don't mind. Could you ask SBO some questions about the manual? You must have learned about it when you had your job interview, unless you weren't really paying attention, unless you actually shouldn't be working here. What? Just flip to a page and ask away.
Oh, I see. Quiz time. All right. Which page should I quiz him on? 362. Okay, what efficient and extremely accurate technology was installed to assist in keeping the train spotless? Robotic arms. During the event, they can perform a variety of tasks and are responsible for cleaning up trash and messes afterwards. I remember the conductor saying the train can clean itself. Though I have a feeling the train company just didn't want to hire any janitors. The robotic arms can also detect weapons or explosions being brought onto the train, ensuring passenger safety.
Seems like SBO aced that question. Jake, hit him with another one.
All right. 89. What is the Mirage Express's cancellation policy? No refunds, and you will be charged a no-show fee. This does not apply if you're over the age of 65, because you probably died. Gee, the person who made this rule must have been over 65.
Last one, Jake. Let's see if SBO can go 3 for 3.
Gotcha. 16. What was implemented to support the conductor duties and ease general train obligations? An intelligent data processing system. It works in tandem with the conductor to assure smooth travel for guests. I remember this. The train has an autopilot, but it can't access its full suite of capabilities without the conductor present. Now, did I pass your little test? Yes. Totally. It's wild you were able to retain all this information so quickly. A poet's brain is often surprising. I don't know if I'd be bragging about that.
You've clearly read the manual. Those answers feel far too specific to be guesses.
And you both had the nerve to question my buddy like that. Don't we want to be supporting folks who read? You have to admit, though, reading the entire time a murder occurred does sound a bit suspicious, even if it's true. But he answered all my questions so calmly. That's very impressive. No, I understand. Everyone's cautious attitudes. Vector was the only one to see me reading after all. My alibi is hard to substantiate, despite being truthful.
Well, you definitely read through the manual, so I suppose we can. SBO, is that true? Vector was the only one to see you reading?
Yes, that's correct. Problem?
Frankly, I don't believe that can be true, and we have evidence to back it up. Jake?
He always puts me on the spot. Okay, Jake, think. We should have a piece of evidence. Shadows. Lock. Please pray tell what this has to do with anything.
We're up, Jake. Let's get our argument together. Shadow walked through the library car to get to the saloon, where he set the original high score on the arcade machine.
Which doesn't make sense because there's two names. There's two names that I recognized, but then there was another name above his that wouldn't have belonged to those two, if I remember correctly. Yeah, but I ended up beating it. It wasn't high score long. Crocs are natural gamers.
SBO said he saw Shadow enter the library, but he mentioned nothing about Shadow's return. He only mentions that Vector came back. When Shadow left Knuckles and Vector in the saloon, SBO was fully seated reading his book for a good while at this point. We know Shadow had to walk back through the library when he left the saloon, so there's absolutely no way Shadow and SBO didn't notice one another on Shadow's return trip. You're full of shit.
It was a simple slip-up. I was just fully immersed in my book that I didn't notice Shadow.
You're telling me the sound of doors opening and locking wouldn't have caused you to look up? I call BS.
Well, you see, I can sense SBO's desperation here. Defending the argument that he was reading the entire time isn't easy.
So, if you didn't see Shadow returning from the saloon to lock all the doors, then at that moment, are you really in the library at all?
But how would Espio leave? Shadow locked all the doors and no one saw Espio in the saloon.
It's a mystery, my dear Jake, one that I would love for Espio to solve.
You gotta believe me. That cool demeanor is vanishing. Also, isn't he a chameleon? Couldn't he just blend in? Just saying. I was so involved in my book I didn't notice Shadow pass back through the library. Honest. When Vector returned, he even had to tap me on the shoulder to get my attention. Yeah, I think I remember doing that.
I must avenge my friend's death, so I'll ask you again, Espio. If you weren't there for Shadow to see you reading, then how did you leave the library?
I didn't. Why doesn't this seem right to me? Tails definitely feels like he's onto something, but I don't see it. I'm also really dumb, so maybe it's me. Was Espio simply sitting reading, or did he somehow vanish to not notice Shadow's return to the library? What should I do? Uh, uh, you know what? For the sake of buddies, I'm gonna have to join Tails. No, I can't interrupt Tails while he's onto something. I'll let him continue this line of questioning and. Jake, my favorite and beloved employee, please. Protect the passengers aboard this train. They must be taken care of. If you fail, the lawsuits will be torturous. Don't allow such an old, feeble soul to get sued. Oh my god! Yes! Finally, the game brings up lawsuits. I can die happy. I have to make sure our guests are taken care of. I have to speak up. Tails, you're full of shit. We have a piece of evidence that can answer all our problems.
All right, my fellow associate, lay it on me. What piece of evidence shows Shadow and Espio couldn't have seen one another?
All right, now let's get my thoughts in order.
The library map? Oh, I see.
See the exits? They're right across from one another, a straight path. If Shadow walked down the straight path, there's a way Espio and Shadow couldn't have seen one another.
Looks like you'll have to point out where exactly on the map you mean. Where could Espio have been for Shadow to not see him?
I mean, right here? Interesting. That's where I was sitting reading my book. I can second this. When I returned from the saloon, Espio was in the same spot.
That confirms it then. You see, Shadow and Espio couldn't have seen one another from this spot, because a bookcase is in the way.
I feel like this was made for children. Okay, it was made for children. But you know what? I'm enjoying it. There's no way Shadow could have seen Espio, or vice versa.
It makes a lot of sense why you never mentioned Shadow's return, Espio. There's just no way you would have seen him.
I apologize for losing my cool back there. I felt like I was grasping despite telling the truth. But I'm glad you all believe me now.
Your alibi isn't the most airtight, but I have no further points. Thank you both for answering all our questions.
We did it! Another pair of alibis validated. Huzzah! The boyfriends are not suspects. Too many locked doors to worry about. But I'm glad everything straightened itself out in the end. Well, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna crash here for a bit. These chairs are so comfy. Likewise, I could use a breather.
Sadly, our work isn't done. I have plenty of questions for Rogue and especially Shadow.
Where is my legally required 15-minute break? Oh, it seems the door to the next car is open. Amy must have kept it open when she passed through earlier.
Then that's our cue to leave. See you later, Vector and Espio.
Give 'em heck. And if you need any meat chopped up, say the word. Bring Sonic's body. I'll chop it up for you. I mean, what? I'll keep my poetry sharp for you both. A murder is on the loose while doors keep getting locked. Tick, tick, tock goes the clock while our heroes are in the caboose. At this point, I'm feeling pretty confident in our detective abilities. We're really doing this. I'm actually getting paid to have fun.
Come on, Jake. Let's see what's next.
Coming. So I feel pretty confident where we're leaving off for this episode. So, everybody, keep it salty, keep it real, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.